Hey guys, and welcome to Genshin Impact. I have turned around my mic, so it should sound a lot better now. I'm so mad. That was so dumb. But, I kept wondering why my mic was so bad, and I was even considering getting a new one. And my dumbass just had to turn my mic around. I'm gonna cry, dude. That is insane. Hey, Dia. Right on time. Do we learn anything from the criminals? We'll know any moment now. Paimon's been wondering. You seem to know Candace pretty well. Have you been friends for a long time? We've known each other for some time now. She's a pretty interesting person. Even though she's an extremely strong warrior, she never misuses her powers against others. Well, Paimon knows what you mean. Like a lot of martial arts artists say, never take the fight outside the ring. Yep, I guess you can put it that way. It takes strong convictions to be as dedicated as she is and shoulder that kind of responsibility. Us mercs, on the other hand, we pretty much live from one day to the next. Well, Paimon thinks you're great, too. Really? Thanks for that. Oh, Sino's here, and he's pretty early, too. Yes, I was here yesterday to help out a little. To help out? By doing what? Sharing some interrogation techniques. Oh, you mean you taught Candace some more persuasive methods? Right. Come on in, everyone. Come on, let's go inside. So I forget exactly why we follow Alhaitham at some point. When it was Sino who was the one who was really interested in that, but... Candace, Whoa, you look furious! Do I? What gave it away? Oh, there's no mask that can hide true bloodlust. Cover up your eyes and it'll still show itself at the corners of your mouth. Perhaps I need to work on my composure. Still, it's perfectly understandable I'm angry. I'm sure everyone present would agree. Yes, ma'am. Please don't beat us anymore. We're gonna die. Well, looks like Sino taught her well. She mastered it really quickly, too. You fear death yourself, so you do not hesitate to place the lives of others at risk. The absurdity is mind-boggling. The ones you call mad scholars are known to us as the village keepers. They are vital members of our community, and some even count them as family. You come here to my village, and you treat my people as nothing more than stepping stones towards your goal? Tell me, what would you do in my position? Mercy, please have mercy. You've made your bet. We may all be desert dwellers, but there's one thing that I understand better than you. The resurrection of King Jeshret will only result in war, and war serves no one. The people of our village cared little about which god is in power. Life may be tough and tiring, but we wish to preserve our way of life. A war would only cause us to lose all that we have, and that is not a responsibility that you can afford to shoulder. We understand. We're sorry. I'll tell you everything I know. Please just let us go. I'm listening. You might not believe this, but it wasn't us who came up with this idea. Someone was spreading rumors in the tavern. That's how we ended up hearing about King Jeshret's resurrection. Some mystery man told us that mad scholars will go make the perfect sacrifice to usher in King Jeshret's resurrection. They give their lives, and we can get anything we wish for. They're called village keepers. Slip up again and you'll regret it. Yes, sorry. It was all that mystery man's doing. He told us to spread the word about King Jeshret's resurrection and talked us into helping him. In return, he said he'll help facilitate the resurrection process. Where are the village keepers now? I'm not sure. That's one. Huh? One what? Strike. You get a total of 3, then you die by my hand. Wait, I'm telling the truth. We don't know anything. It was all him. 2. He got us to lure them out of their houses in the night with some kind of incense. We take them to a junction outside the village, then the mystery guy takes them from there. You gotta believe me, please. I'm telling the truth, I swear. Just tell them. Ask them if you don't believe me. That was indeed the truth. Traveler, go on. Do you have any idea who that mysterious person might be? You have to believe me. If I knew that, I would have told you his name right away. I'm not risking another beating to keep his secrets. No way. Hey, that guy, he wears a cloak and he's always careful to cover his face. He calls himself King Deshret's envoy. I believe I may know what's going on. Uncle Anpu? What do you mean? Oh shit. Heh, smooth. Okay, speak. If my suspicions are correct, this mystery man they speak of could be from the Academia. Some time ago, people from the Academia attempted to take the village keepers away. I refused, insisting that they are part of our community. It strikes me now that this secretive character shares the same goal they had. Which means it's highly likely that the Academia were purposely spreading the false rumor to trick the radicals into delivering the village keepers right into their hands. Huh. They were the ones who brought them here to begin with. Now they're trying to take them back? We aren't going to let that happen. Not the Academia again. Sataria also mentioned King Deshret's resurrection is just the Academia's misinformation campaign. Just as I thought. But what could they want with the village keepers? People are nothing but tools in the eyes of the Academia. A change in their plans likely means they found another way to exploit the scholars. Regardless, our top priority now is locating the village keepers. You're right, Isak is still waiting for news on his grandpa. Time to go. Let's leave the village and try to track them down. Yes, pack up and get ready to leave. You got it. Candace will let you deal with the radicals. Leave everything outside the village to us. Alright. Let's meet back here once everyone's ready. You look worried, thinking about the village keepers? Yes, I'd look for them myself if I could. As members of our village, each one of them is very important to me. You have a strong sense of belonging here. I guess I'm the opposite. Mercs are stray dogs wherever they go. Dia, don't say that. You can be part of this community too. Thanks. I'll let you know what I feel like joining. Oh. What scheme is the Academia brewing now? I just hope everyone's alright. Alhaitham. There he is! Let's get some food in us and then we'll... Whoa! Where did you come from? Well, as you can see, I am merely sitting here and reviewing what we have deduced thus far. You were gone for ages and now you're suddenly sitting here musing to yourself? Where have you been, anyway? Hey, what's with the silence? You never think things through before asking questions. I'm giving you some time to make up for that. Huh? Ugh! Paimon's so mad! Paimon's gonna give you an ugly nickname. Go ahead, I won't stop you. Never mind. Paimon's got nothing. There's just nothing super obvious to pick with this... Wait, sorry. There's just nothing super obvious to pick with this guy. It makes it so hard. Well, we've heard nothing to suggest I left this whole time, so clearly I stayed in the village to investigate. Anyway, you plan to leave our village and keep searching for the truth of this matter, yes? Yep, we're not going to find out anything more by staying here, so we thought that we might as well take the search elsewhere. Enough with the silent treatment! Maybe he's giving us time to think. No, I'm just surprised that you decided to team up with him. Alhaitham, you haven't helped us out at all since we arrived at our village. Bold of you to question our choices. That's true.
Yeah, you're all talk.
While you were investigating, I had my own work to do, which I've now finished.
Really? Paimon doesn't believe you.
To be honest, we aren't really a team, so I have no obligation to inform you of my whereabouts. Not to mention that going separate ways allows me to find some important information that you all have missed.
Huh? Right here in the village?
Correct. What did you learn? I'm going to take you to someone, but before that, you need to understand where she's coming from.
What does that mean?
How do you think the residents of our village feel about what we're doing? In other words, do you truly believe every single word the villagers tell us?
You mean some of them lie to us?
Hiding the truth does not necessarily equate to lying. Again, these people have their own reasons. Remember what Candace said? Most people in our village don't necessarily care which deity is in charge of Sumeru. That's because whether King Deshret or the Dendro Archon has power is of little significance to them. By contrast, the perils of their daily lives are ever-present concerns. They won't simply share everything they know with you without good reason. That's why you believe there was no further information to be found in this village. Good God, his voice hurts my throat. So you're saying we can find new info from someone we've already spoken to? Glad you're following along. Among those you have talked to, there's someone who was consciously keeping you out of the loop. In fact, she's been observing your every move since you arrived. The reason being, to someone who only wants to live their life in peace, any external factors introduce unpredictability into the equation.
Those eyes, those fierce eyes! You look like a real fighter.
Don't change the subject. It's quite obvious that she's intimidated by Sino's authority and strength.
Right, you're asking about the Mad Scholars.
She corrected herself mid-sentence because she's aware that there are King Deshret fanatics in the village. If she sounds too friendly toward the village keepers, she could easily make herself the radicals' next target.
I think it's been a few days since I last saw them. I usually go to bed pretty early, so I'm not too familiar with what goes on at night.
Remember, she made a point of denying her involvement in anything that occurs at night.
But honestly, I feel quite sympathetic towards them. Even though they act a little strange, they've helped me in the past. If it weren't for them, my house would have collapsed long ago.
After speaking to the village chief, it became clear that the village keepers had protected our village at night. In other words, the young miss was very much awake during that time.
Then why would she lie?
By getting involved with an outsider, she risks drawing unwanted attention to herself. As for why she might be so worried about all this, maybe you should ask her. I'll pass on this one. You said that she's afraid of me. If so, it's best I stay out of this.
We're on it.
Miss Shani, as we discussed earlier, I've brought someone with me.
Mr. Alhaitham, I'm aware of where you stand, but how can I make sure that your friends think the same as you? Huh? What do you mean? We need to clarify our stance or something?
Go ahead and talk to her. You'll get the answers you want. Go on, earn her trust.
Is it really that simple? May I call you Traveler?
Sure thing. Hey, Miss Shani.
Hi, Traveler. I want to ask you something. Do you think the resurrection of King Deshret can truly change Sumeru for the better?
No. Why's that? Because it'll only result in conflict.
That's very similar to what Miss Candace says. I know you two are friends. That's why I'm willing to talk to you, even though I do have some reservations. Before, I wouldn't even have the courage to ask something like this. Traveler, do you believe our lives will get better?
I can't promise anything, but I'll do the best I can.
Yeah, we came here from another nation, so it isn't wrong of you to be worried. And we aren't really residents of any one nation. But even so, we've met lots of people from different places, and we've always fought for what we believed in. We have friends in Sumeru, and we want to help them. That's why we decided to stay here for a while.
I want to trust you. My apologies for posing my questions like that. To be honest, I didn't expect you to come back for more information.
Alhaitham told us you have your reasons. It's okay, we understand.
The fact that I'm only one side of my family is desert folk. I don't really fit in anywhere in Sumeru. Some believe in the Dendro Archon, while others believe in King Deshret. I don't belong to either side, and neither side would want me.
Speaking of which, the radicals mentioned that they despise traitors. Do they think that anyone who's different from them is a traitor?
Yeah. Some people can be so narrow-minded when it comes to bloodlines and beliefs. It makes no difference what I say or how I behave. I'll always be suspected of having ulterior motives. Sorry. Slowly. I just stopped talking to people. I pretended not to hear or see anything. I wanted to live my life in peace. And then it happened. The village keepers who had helped me disappeared with no explanation, and I didn't dare breathe a word about it to anyone until now. You can tell them. I'm sure he'll keep your secret. Alright, I'll tell you what I told Alhaitham. I actually have a sharper sense of hearing than most. Sometimes I hear strange crying sounds in the night.
Eek! There are ghosts?
Perhaps. I'm not sure. It's faint, but it's definitely the sound of crying. It comes from far away in the distance and always carries very raw emotion. It used to be louder and more frequent, but ever since you arrived in the village, it doesn't seem to happen as often. And when it does, it's much quieter. I have to focus really hard to make it out. I confirmed this with the guards on night duty. They also have someone with a good ear, and he's heard similar sounds at night. But because we're in the middle of the desert, he would rather believe that they are the cries of beasts than ghosts. Could you make out where the sounds were coming from? There's really nothing around these parts, except for an old hospital not far from the village. I think they used it for treating Elazar, but it's been abandoned for years. We need to check out that hospital.
Yeah, let's go.
Not far from the village, my butt. Alright, let's get going. So, I know I complain about my throat a lot, and I apologize. I was doing some voice acting before I hopped on my computer. Well, before I hopped on Genshin. So that's why my voice isn't as good today. But I still wanted to do this because I have fun.
Is this the place? It's in terrible shape and there's sand everywhere. Ah! Monsters! Watch out!
Get him, D-Luke! Get him! Whoa. Man, you're wild. You're crazy. Oh. We don't have a healer. Columbian, I love you, but I really wish you were a healer. I'm gonna pull for Varka when he comes out, but he's not a healer either. So my team is kind of stuck. Get him! Oh my god, that camera angle. Ugh, gross. Enemy reinforcements? Are you kidding me? Oh god. Get him, dealer! Get him! Get him! He's terrifying. He's so scary. Oh my gosh. Columbia, do something. Ooh, that was good damage! Wait a sec. Was Was that healing? No, I'm just stupid. Just ignore me. She plays a bit like Kokomi, just without the healing. And I say that as a Kokomi main. I love my healers.
Phew, they were easier to deal with than Paimon had expected.
What were you even expecting?
Super strong bandits, or monsters taller than buildings dropping out of the sky, or you know, something like that. He looks super serious. We gotta stay on our A game too.
This is one. Let's go in and take a look.
Hey, Alhaitham, we haven't found squat. Are you sure we aren't wasting our time here?
Patience. Shawnee said she only heard the crying at night. We have time to burn. Until then. I'm taking a break.
And just like that, he sits down. Wait, he even brought a book to read? What are you reading? Let Paimon see.
Okay, sure.
The natural position, which is the positional propensity of an entity in natural motion in contrast with an object in forced motion. When free external influence, every entity displays a tendency to follow its natural trajectory.
So, you got that?
Paimon gives up. You keep reading your book. See ya. How is he so relaxed? Look at him reading an impossible book in a creepy place like this.
You know, it wouldn't kill you to read a book once in a while either.
Hey, Paimon's your travel guide. Paimon knows plenty of useful stuff already. And anyway, it's not Paimon's fault that the books people read in Sumeru are so complicated.
Okay, Paimon's the best.
Wow, Paimon's getting so sleepy. Huh? What was that sound?
There it is. It's coming from that direction.
Is the sound coming from here? Paimon's not seeing anything.
It's from below.
Huh? But there's no way we can get down there.
Something is off about the interior here. Alhaitham, you're so helpful. Oh my gosh. As I thought, there's a hidden structure.
Whoa, it's like they tacked another hospital into this one. It looks like there are other mechanisms around here. Let's keep exploring.
Okay. Ah, sugar honey iced tea. I have to do the thing. I have to actually explore in Genshin Impact? What the? Yeah. Oh no. Okay. I'm getting it now. I'm remembering how to do this.
That's close enough.
Howdy. Look at my Kai with the flute.
Where do you think you're going?
Where? Where? Okay, there's one. Oh, I didn't get... Good job, Kaya, protecting Columbina. That's why you're on the team. Oh, there's more. Ouch. I love the burning reaction so much. Boink. And then the other one should be... maybe up there? Yeah. Scorpions. Scorpions and bird. What? Oh, there's more. Oh my god. One, two, maybe over here? It's gotta be here somewhere. Yoink. I feel like it was under something. Oh. Oh. Yeah. Easy.
Look, there's someone over there.
We need to be careful.
Good idea. Let's approach him slowly without alarming him.
Wait. You're...
He can't speak and his eyes are unfocused, but he looks too young to be anyone's grandfather. Also, why is he the only one here?
Didn't expect to see him here.
You know him?
He's Razak, a senior of mine at the academia.
He's a scholar too? Is he the kind that holds up in the forest and mumbles stuff about training?
No, and that's the problem. Razak was never involved in any of those things. Never trained in the forest, let alone reach Sayavada level life. So how did he become like this? Leaving that question aside for the moment, him being here alone means that we might be too late. Looks like they've already taken everyone away. For whatever reason, they left Razak here. Perhaps they simply didn't have time to come back for him. There are drag marks on the ground. They're clear by the doorway. Someone was forcibly drawing a cart that was loaded with something heavy.
Loaded with people?
That is one possibility. It looks like they were in a hurry, as if they were afraid of being caught. In their haste, they failed to notice Razak hiding in a corner. The symptoms are identical. Looks like we found living proof.
Huh? Why do you say that?
Allow me to jog your memory. Recall your time with Porter Ramos. Don't you think his symptoms look familiar? They're my guy who went mad.
Oh, now that you mention it, they're acting the same way.
Correct. The academia is behind all this. It isn't difficult to deduce their rationale. First, the academia spread a false rumor of King Desret's resurrection, emphasizing the role of the village keepers, the mad scholars who were exiled to our village. These rumors were all the persuasion that the radicals needed, and those based in our village leapt into action. Unbeknownst to them, of course, though, through rounding up the scholars, they were actually helping the academia. So being as well as being able to exploit the radicals for their own ends, the scheme has one further advantage to the academia. All the risks and responsibilities are offloaded onto King Desret's followers. Life for the desert dwellers had been brutal ever since King Desret's death all those years ago. Beneath the surface, feelings of desperation are widespread. Many would give anything they have for the prospect of something better. Anyone looking to exploit that for their own end simply needs to make a few empty promises. Even if complications arise, people will see those involved. Sorry, let me try again. Even if complications arise, people will see that those involved are all followers of King Desret, and look no further explanation than differences of belief. A deep-seated mistrust of the desert and everyone in it, by the rest of Samara, will make sure of that. The notion of an academia plot wouldn't even cross their minds. It may seem like a simple strategy, but it is able to work wonders under Samara's current circumstances.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. It's in line with the village chief's theory, too. But there's still one important question. Wasn't it the academia that brought the scholars to our village in the first place? Why do they want them back now?
Throughout this process, one thing has changed: the scholars' identity. First, they were scholars, and then they became lunatics. After that, they were exiles, and finally they became missing person. I see. An exile is still patently a living, breathing human being, but when someone becomes a missing person, that is brought into question. If you can't find someone, you have no way of knowing what exactly happened to them. That makes missing people an ideal resource.
Resource for what exactly?
One possibility is that the information in their brains could be extracted into knowledge capsules.
Extracted? You mean canned knowledge comes from people's brains?
With the technology of Sumer Academia, it's entirely possible. Perhaps the process caused them great suffering, which is why they call out in the dead of night when no one is watching them.
So the human brain... Nope, nuh-uh. Paimon doesn't want to think about this.
How'd you learn of this technology? I'm the academia scribe, after all. I'm familiar with their projects. Anyway, judging by Rasak's state, the contents of a divine knowledge capsule were extracted from his mind, but something went wrong in the process. Or perhaps his curiosity got the better of him and he used the capsule for himself.
I was a little confused. Can they just use anyone's brain?
No, that can't be right. Most of the mad scholars have made contact with the divine consciousness in the forest. That's what the academia is after. It's also safe to assume that this knowledge has something to do with the Fatui, the doctor and also the Balladeer. They're using divine knowledge capsules to turn the Balladeer into a god. The look on your face tells me you've realized the answer. The Academia needs people who have been exposed to the divine consciousness. That's right. To some scholars, gaining knowledge about the gods in their entire life's pursuit, extracting hidden knowledge is just one of the extreme measures they turn to. However, I can't help but wonder, what do they seek to gain from divine knowledge? The Academia is going out of their way to look for forbidden knowledge, but what is their ultimate goal? I have spent quite some time trying to analyze the contents of the divine knowledge capsule, but to no avail. It seems like my way of thinking is too different from theirs.
You mean you're not even slightly interested in getting your hands on this forbidden stuff?
All scholars seek to expand their horizons of knowledge, but I'm not particularly interested in gods, so I don't share their degree of zealotry. Extracting information from people as if they were lifeless objects. If this is the direction of academic progress, then the Academia may as well shut its doors.
Sounds like you're really against all this.
Of course, the Academia's actions run contrary to their rules. Give me a sec. Holy shit. Whether it be academics or knowledge, everything has its boundaries. If those lines are crossed, the rules and order that govern everything in the world will be destroyed. This matter needs to be corrected, not just like fixing a typo in a book.
Wait, didn't you step in to help because you feel sympathy for those poor people?
Not to be callous, but no. My criteria is a little more restrictive than that. There is no shortage of suffering in Sumeru, and the same can be said for the rest of Tivat as well. What do you plan to do about that? Save every lost person?
Probably not. Paimon's not sure.
Your motives are more specific and personal. You can say that. Simply put, I don't blindly place my faith in just strength or heroism. I do what I want. The divine knowledge capsule is something I want to investigate in full. That doesn't mean I'm willing to take action for the sake of a few strangers. Though he rejects the notion of greater moral responsibility, he justifies his actions because they are true to his personal motives. Someone like him would actually make for a better ally.
Paimon's wanted to say this for a while. There are a lot of bad guys in the Academia, but you're not one of them. You're their weirdo.
You're probably right. But I must say, I quite enjoy this feeling of being the odd one out. Uniqueness is also an asset, is it not?
Wow, what a great way to think about it. Paimon's really impressed. If only Miss Shawnee had a similar mindset, her life would definitely be a lot easier.
I'm just a more likable person than her in general. There's nothing more to it than that. So what do we do with him? He won't last long if we leave him here. Let's take him with us. We'll work out our next step after we return to our village. Oh my god. That was insane. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!